September 16th, 2007. Nisour Square, Baghdad. 17 people were killed in 17 minutes. But this wasn't a military operation. There were no soldiers in those vehicles. What opened fire that day was something the world had never seen at this scale. A private army. A corporation with guns operating in a war zone under almost no legal accountability. This is the story of Blackwater, USA, how a small security firm became the most powerful. Blackwater wasn't part of the United States military. It was a private company founded in 1997 by former Navy SEAL Erik Prince. Originally built as a training facility in North Carolina, Blackwater quickly grew into one of the world's largest private military contractors. After the September 11th attacks, the United States launched military operations across Afghanistan and Iraq. The demand for security personnel exploded. Instead of relying solely on soldiers, the U.S. government hired thousands of private contractors to protect diplomats, military convoys, intelligence officers, and critical infrastructure. At its peak, Blackwater employed thousands of highly trained former soldiers from the United States and allied nations. Their missions often placed them in some of the most dangerous environments on Earth. Yet unlike regular troops, they operated under private contracts, creating a legal gray area that would later become one of the biggest controversies of the Iraq War. Everything changed on September 11th, 2001. Following the terrorist attacks on the United States, President George W. Bush declared the global war on terror. Within weeks, American forces entered Afghanistan. Less than 2 years later, they invaded Iraq, opening a second major front in the Middle East. These wars stretched the U.S. military across vast territories, protecting diplomats, embassies, supply convoys, intelligence personnel, and reconstruction projects required far more manpower than the military alone could provide. To fill that gap, the U.S. government turned increasingly to private military companies. Firms like Blackwater, DynCorp, and Triple Canopy became essential partners, performing missions that had traditionally belonged to soldiers. By the mid-2000s, private contractors had become a defining feature of modern warfare. On September 16th, 2007, a Blackwater security convoy entered Nisour Square in the heart of Baghdad. The convoy, assigned to escort a State Department official, claimed they came under fire. Iraqi witnesses and investigators told a very different story. Within minutes, 17 Iraqi civilians were dead and 20 more were wounded. Among the victims, women, children, and medical students. None were armed, none posed any threat.
The Nisour Square shooting immediately triggered investigations by both Iraqi authorities and the United States government. As international pressure mounted, the FBI launched one of its largest overseas investigations, interviewing hundreds of witnesses and examining the events in detail. In 2014, nearly 7 years after the shooting, 4 former Blackwater contractors were convicted in a U.S. federal court. One was found guilty of first-degree murder, while the others were convicted of voluntary manslaughter and firearms offenses. The verdict appeared to send a clear message. Private military contractors were not above the law. But the story did not end there. In December 2020, during his final weeks in office, President Donald Trump granted presidential pardons to all 4 convicted contractors. The decision drew sharp criticism from the United Nations, human rights organizations, and the Iraqi government, who argued that the pardons denied justice to the victims' families. Supporters of the pardons claimed the contractors had been operating in an active war zone under extraordinary pressure. Critics argued the decision weakened accountability for private military companies. Even today, the debate continues over where the line should be drawn between national security and legal responsibility. Blackwater no longer exists under its original name. Following years of controversy, the company underwent multiple rebrandings, becoming Easy Services and later Academy. Today, it operates under a different corporate structure as part of a larger defense services group. Yet the questions raised by Nisour Square remain unanswered. Across the world, private military companies continue to operate in conflict zones, protecting infrastructure, training armed forces, securing diplomats, and supporting governments. At the same time, new organizations such as Russia's Wagner Group have demonstrated how private military companies can influence wars, politics, and global security on an unprecedented scale. As warfare evolves with artificial intelligence, autonomous drones, and cyber operations, governments may rely even more heavily on private contractors in the decades ahead. The story of Blackwater is therefore not only about one company or one tragic day in Baghdad. It is a warning about the future of warfare. In a world where private companies increasingly fight public wars, one question remains: who should be held accountable when the trigger is pulled?
Every conflict has a story. Every decision has consequences. At Vaultline Works, we uncover the stories behind history, warfare, and global power. Our next documentary explores drone warfare, the weapon changing the future of modern combat. Stay tuned.